Hi guys, Elizabeth Makeovers here, coming me to glam my beautiful Queen Esther. So first of all, I went in with my foundation. This foundation is a mix of V Beauty and Avour foundation. So this foundation, one thing I like about the Avour products is that it blends into the skin seamlessly. And the V Beauty, although not a matte, but it gives this soft matte look. So the both blended together gave me exactly what I wanted. And guys, this foundation match, it is so good. So, and she has a very beautiful skin. So when I had to blend everything together, blended, and guys, I always say it in all my sessions that blending is key. The first thing to getting a solid foundation aside skin prep is the blending. So I blended everything and you can see the glow from the skin prep. Don't worry guys, I'm going to drop another video showing her skin prep. So I blended everything. And guys, one thing I always say is when you're blending your foundation, do not forget the chin, under the chin and the part of the neck, so that your foundation doesn't give you this curve. It doesn't stay apart from the face, so it blends into the neck also. So after that, I contoured her face with the V Beauty matte foundation. This shade is like 2 shades darker than my shade to contour her nose, her cheekbones and every other area that needed contouring. So after that, I went in with my blush, not a blush necessarily, but this is the Blossom Pout lip palette. I mixed 2 shades together, a red and a pink shade, just to get the shade for her. So I blended it into the contour because I do not want to have my contour separating from the blush. So I blended the both together and blended every harsh lines together. So for every part of her forehead where I contoured, I just used the remaining blush on the beauty blender, to just define it and give it a good define. So for everywhere I put the contour, I put a little bit of the blush just to define the face. So that's what I was basically doing here. And guys, don't be tired of blending. Blending is the key. So after that, I went ahead to conceal her face. This concealer is also from Avour. Really, I do not know what Avour put in their products, especially their concealer. So they have the bigger size and they have the smaller size. So, and this concealer, you just need a little goes along, because if you put too much, face will over crease and it won't give you exactly what you want. So little goes a long way. So I just put it on the areas that I needed, and then I went in with the other shade. I think the shade I use here is A30 and A80. Although one thing I've noticed about for concealers is the numbers don't follow. Like A30, which is meant to be lighter, and A80, which is meant to be darker, is the reverse case. So here I use A30 and I use a bit of A80 so to blend. So one thing I like to do is start from the inner corners of the eyes, because I need much product there than the outer corner of the eye. So I blend from the inner corner of the eye and just go upward, just to give my face or my client's face that lift that it needs, and blend. And when you're blending, guys, always tell your model or your client to look up, so they should look away, so you'll be able to get the underneath of the eye. Blend everything very well. So I blended the other side also. So guys, just dab, work your way upwards to the outer corner of the eye. So blending from inside to outside, from inside to outside. When you see that you have a lot of product on the outer corner of the eye, you can bring the product back to the inner corner of the eye, because that's where you need much product. So I kept blending. Then the sides of the upper part of a lip, blend. So as you can see, it gives your face that definition, and you know where to work on. It gives your client or model that V shape from the outer corner of the eye to the top part of the lip. So always tell your model or your client however you want them, to do their facial expression, so you get exactly what you need. So what I do is, once I blend a bit, I move backward, just to see if there are any harsh lines or any other place I need to blend. Then for the forehead, I just blend in circle, just get a circle, and not to blend past a particular place. So just blending a curve of the forehead. So after I did that, I used the remaining part of the beauty blender, the side, just to blend the remaining with the contoured area. And I saw that as she was opening and closing her eyes, where there were other harsh lines, so I had to blend it. Then if you have more products on your beauty blender, you can as well use it to do the eyelid. Just blend the eyelid to give it a base before you go in with your eyeshadow base and eyeshadow. So I kept blending because I didn't want to have any harsh lines, and I wanted everything to come out good and come out perfect. So this is what it looks like. And after that, I saw that I wanted to go in with my pressed powder, and I saw that it creased a bit, so I had to go back in with my beauty blender, just to blend any harsh lines. So after that, I went in with my pressed powder. This powder is from JD, you can call it JD or J-Juice powder. I went in with this powder. I'm using this powder in 01. I can't remember if it is clove or amber, but I know it is in 01, and it has this bright shade. So I use it underneath the eye because I want to give the underneath of the eye, that bright tone. Aside, although she wanted a subtle glam, that's what I wanted to give her, but although I wanted the under eye to be bright, so I went in with this powder. And guys, always tell your client or your model to look up, so you'll be able to press it into the skin, and so it doesn't give you that under eye crease. So make sure you work your way up from the inner corner of the eye to the outer corner of the eye. So that is what I did there. Then you can also go ahead to give the outer corner of your eye that lift that it needs, to help guide in your eyeshadow application. So after that, I went in with the powder to set the rest of the face. I mixed 2 shades of powder. I can't remember, but I know I did a mix of 2 shades of powder, to just get her skin tone. So the powder I used here is I used J-Juice powder, and also a shade from my Blossom palette. And one thing I like about the Blossom palette is it gives that so for people with medium to dark skin, it is very good for them. Although it has lighter colors, but it has mostly of red undertone and tones for medium to dark skin. So I had to mix it with the J-Juice and to set all over her face with the powder. So that's what I did here. And I also went ahead to extend it to her neck also. So guys, whatever you do for the face, make sure you also extend it to the neck, so you don't have 2 different shades, shade on the face and shade on the neck. So I went ahead to set the powder in place using this tea tree spray from Kiss Beauty. It just helps to melt all the powder effects. Can you see the way her face is glowing? So it helps to melt that powdery effect, so you don't have that cakey cakey look from the powder. And guys, always make sure that for everything you do, for every spray you use, always make sure it dries. Even if it takes a lot of time, always make sure it dries. You can use 2 fans if you want, but make sure that it dries before you go into your next application. So here I did I went back with the setting powder. I used the setting powder from Dove here, so to bake our under eye. So as you can see, I baked the under eye. So after that, I went in with this eyeshadow primer from Ceendies. It's a very good eyeshadow primer. A little goes a long way also. So I just spread that. You can use your brush or you can use your fingers, whatever works for you. So since I'm going for a soft bridal glam, I went into my art eyeshadow to take the brown shade that was there for the outer corner of the eye. So I was just walking up from the outer corner of the eye to the inner corner of the eye. So guys, what you can also do is, or what I like to do is to blend that brown shade that I used. I'll just blend it into a nose, the upper part of a nose contour, so it gives the nose a definition. There's no separation from the nose contour and your eyeshadow, so it just gives like that base from the eyeshadow to the nose contour. And guys, blend. So I blended everything together. After blending it, I went in with another brown shade, a subtle brown shade, just to make sure that there are no harsh line or there is no creasing or no separation between it. So after that, I went in with a darker shade, at the corners of the eye, just to give the eye that definition and to make it pop out. So that is what I did here. So I kept blending it together, blend all the shades together, because there was a time I used to do eyeshadow and I'll just put one shade, put another shade on top, and it just gives that lumpy eyeshadow feeling, like as if you just took the whole thing and packed it on your face. So, and I didn't want that, so I learned a lot and I blended it. So here I went in with another brush to blend everything together. The 2 shades I blended it all together just to give it that definition. And guys, don't be scared to go almost near your eyebrows, because by the time you draw your brows and put your concealer, then it's to give you that separation between the brows and the eyeshadow. So I kept blending here. So, and since we're going for a bridal look, I took an eyeshadow that was like, I don't really know this color. I think it was like light pink, or let me say baby, not really baby pink, but close to that, on the eyelid. And we weren't going to use glitter or anything since it was a white, since she was going to be wearing a white gown, and it's not for an engagement look or anything, so it's just the white. So I went in with this look, this eyeshadow for our eyes. It's a pinkish eyeshadow and it sat so well. So instead of me blending and pulling it together, I was just soft tapping on the eye, so it sits well on everywhere I wanted it to be. So it just sits well on it. So guys, the same thing I did, I had to blend it also to the transition eyeshadow that was there, so it doesn't give a different or a separation between the transition and the main eyeshadow. So guys, just work your way up, do what works for you, but all in all, just make sure that for every product you use, either for eyes or anything, just make sure you blend well. So I went in with my eyeliner, gel eyeliner. This eyeliner is from Paula B, and at the point she was teary, so I just had to pause a bit. So guys, when you have clients that tear a bit, make sure you have a tissue or a cotton bud at hand. So at the point she was tearing, so I had to wait a while for her to calm down and continue. So I did that off camera because we had to be pausing and all. So this is me using my brow matrix gel. I got it in the clear shade, although I'll still go back to get it in the brown shade. So after putting that with my spoolie, I just like to use the back of the brush to just press it down so it defines the brow for me to draw where I want to draw. So for the edge of the eyebrows, I like to use a darker pencil for the outer corner of the eyebrows. So I use a darker pencil. If I don't use the dark pencil, I'll just use maybe the remaining eyeliner gel from Paula B just to define the brows. So I use that at the outer corner of the eye. Then I go in also with a brown pencil. So I usually like the classic pencil. I really don't know what is in this pencil, the classic eyebrow pencil. So once I sharpen it, it just gives me that definition that I want. So I just use it in strokes to fill in the inner corner of the brows. And like I said guys, this is a subtle bridal look, so we're not going for anything heavy or anything much, just a light look. So all you need to do is draw and define. You can move back to just check your brows, are they aligned together? Guys, two brows or your brows your brows, they are sisters, they are not identical twins. So definitely one brow will look longer than the other, or one will look more fuller than the other. So just take your time and draw your brows to fill it in, define it. You can move back just to see what you're doing and go back with your spoolie to define it, to get the curves, the angles and all. So that's what I did here. I kept going back to check, where do I need to fill in more, what do I need to do, which side needs more filling. So after that, when I saw that the brows was okay, I went in with my concealer to conceal the outer corner of the brows. So and blended the concealer, so you can see that there's a space between the eyebrows and your eyeshadow. So this was what I was talking about, that when you're blending your eyeshadow, you can blend it up, and when you conceal, it just gives you like a difference between the eyebrows and your eyeshadow. So after that, I went in with the lips because at this point we had to quickly work on ourselves and work on the whole makeup to get shooting and all. So I went in with my lip liner. I lined the lips. I overlined the lips because although she had it fuller lips, but I just wanted to overline it to give it definition. So this pencil I'm using is from Avour. I don't know which shade, or it's the Avour lip liner. So I did that. Then I went into my Blossom Pout lip palette to take this shade, although it was much at the time, but I just had to blend the whole thing. So I blended it. I had to blend a lot, and I had to tell her to also blend her lips. And by the time I blended it all together, it came out so well and so good. So I went back in with my pencil just to give the upper lip, you know, that darker look and darker shade. Blended everything all together, and it came out so well and so good. At a point when I saw it was kind of much and she wanted me to tone it down, I had to use my another brush, you know, just to blend it all together. So this is me going back in with the pencil, you know, just to give it the lips that definition that you need. And so I didn't want that separation between the pencil and the lip application, so I had to go in, you know, to blend both together so there are no harsh lines between them, because I was still going to put a lip gloss, and you putting a lip gloss on, you know, lips like this, you know, just give it that definition and makes it pop more. So I had to go into blend a lot. So after that I went in with my blush. So I added blush. I first, you know, put a powder contour, you know, to define the contour that was there before, because I noticed that the contour wasn't really popping. So I had to go in with a, you know, brown warm undertone powder darker than our shade, and just to define that. Then I went in with my blush, nothing too much and too, you know, nothing screamy rather. So I went in with the blush, you know, a lower tone of blush, not the pinky one that I used earlier. So, and I defined a nose, went into contour and nose, define it from the brows, from the inner corner of the brows down. So I defined it, and after that I went in with a lighter shade of powder, you know, for our under eye, and I went back again, you know, just the remaining powder on the brush, just to define every corner of our eye, of our face rather. So that is what I did here. So I just kept, you know, blending and checking everything to see that it was okay and camera ready, you know, to take pictures. Because one thing about makeup is that it will eventually sink in. Whatever you do, it might not show at first, but it is going to sink in. And once the makeup settles on the face, that is when you will see the true beauty of the makeup. So my setting powder that I used to bake, I went in with a lighter shade of powder, you know, just to dust off that excess setting powder, and to also give her under eye that brighten effect, because I wanted her under eye, you know, to pop. If at all any other place on her face doesn't really scream, oh, I'm wearing makeup, or I wanted the under eye, you know, to speak so well. So guys, you can see the difference between the under eye and our cheekbone, you know, the contour, the blush, they all blended together seamlessly. So I did the same for everywhere I put concealer. I put that lighter shade there, you know, just blending and checking for any harsh lines or anywhere that, you know, needed to be brightened. So that is what I was just doing here, doing everything and make sure that the whole face sits well, the makeup sits well. So at a point we went in back with a blush, not too bright, but you know, just to give the face that definition, because this is a bridal look, nothing too much, but we still had to go in with blush. What is the girly without blush? Everybody loves blush. So went in with, you know, just a subtle shade of blush, and I put it on everywhere. I did contour on my face, and it looked so good. See my client here, she was really loving the look, and, you know, she just gave us a little dance and she loved it. So at this point, I think Nepa took the light, and the light I was using I made a mistake. I was using it with the battery, so I didn't know that the batteries were not charged, so I kept using it. And when NEPA took light, we just had to work with the sunlight. So this is me putting the lip gloss. Like I said earlier, that when you put your lip gloss, everything will come out and pop well. So here I was using the cheek glaze. This cheek glaze is from Miss Mesix. I do not know what they put in this cheek glaze, but it gives that glow. If you do not want too much glow from maybe other harsh highlighters, you can use this. So I also wanted another type of glow, not just that subtle glow from Miss Mesix. So I went in with the So Pro highlighter in shade Lola. So I went in with it and just put a little on everywhere I put the glow, because I didn't want it to be too shining or our face too glittery. So I just put a little on everywhere I put the wet balm. So usually I'll spray the face before putting the wet balm, but I put the wet balm, then I had to lock everything on, and so this is what we got. Like I said, our lights went off, so we had to work with the sunlight. So this is what we got, guys. This look 8. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.